My grandfather was a Collingwood supporter and bid fairly hard for me to be a Collingwood supporter. I was the sort of first grandchild that took a real interest in football and sport. So, but it didn't quite click, and I don't know whether it was lack of success in premiership terms that sort of never sort of got me over the line. But I had an uncle, my grandmother's brother, who lived in Melbourne. So Melbourne to us was all about, his name was Jim Fitz. And you would walk into his house and he'd have the frame photo of Jezza, and it just had that mythical sort of feel about it. And so I started following, and then by the time 79 rolled around, I was very much a Carlton supporter, and then from 79 you pretty much lock it in. Once you hit Royal Parade, you sort of do feel as if you've crossed some sort of border, and you're very much in Carlton sort of territory, and you just see these flock of people, 90% of whom are wearing navy, and you sort of park their car, get out and walk along Royal Parade, and at this stage the leaves have all turned, and then you get in, you had the reserves game beforehand, so you were straight into it, you sort of just felt a part of it straight away. And I remember just getting a good spot right on the fence, sort of in and around the 50-metre mark at the, I guess you would call it the Carlton end, as opposed to the social club end, and just sort of settled in. I remember really anticipating it being West Coast, and I think that was either the start or the middle of that incredible run we had at Princes Park, where we won pretty much every time we played there. I remember that it was Silvani had the ball in the back line, sort of kicked it out to a contest, and Bradley created the contest, sort of turned his opponent around a little bit, got the ball and just ran. And then he dished off to Andrew McKay, got the 1-2, got it straight back, and just kept running along the boundary. And then it was either just outside 50 or just inside, sort of just took one step in, banana kick, and sort of went through. And you talk about the stadium sort of being a physical being, like everyone just rose at the same time, and it was just, and I was a year out, but that was the moment where I said, we're going to win it. We're going to win the whole thing this year. I was just a year out, but no, so it was, and it sort of stuck with us. Like it is a real sort of touching point for my brother and I when we do talk about old Carlton games. We were, if not on the fence, then one back from the fence, right in front of where he kicked it. So we were sort of right on the 50-metre line. So that's why I sort of can't remember whether he was in front or slightly behind, and it's kind of irrelevant in a way, because the goal is the run, the dish off, getting it back, and the banana kick, sort of just getting through. So we were, and when I watch it on YouTube, I just keep trying to pause it, but the quality is not so great as to be able to have that frame where I'm sort of there watching as he kicks that goal. The football ground, going down to Lygon Street on a Saturday night after the game, sort of really shaped my frame of reference for Melbourne. So and now that I've lived in Melbourne the past 20 years, I sort of can't tell about my story in Melbourne without Carlton almost being front and centre.